This is the first of a series of tutorials that will cover compositing our Battlebot animation inside of After Effects. We're going to start by creating a new project, and then we're going to import the elements that will comprise our background. I'm going to go to File, Import, File, or Command-I, and I'm going to go to the folder, and I'm going to import the stars.jpg. I'm going to make a new composition by going to Composition, New Composition, and I'll name it Battlebot. And I'm going to make it 960 by 540, and I'll make the time duration 40 seconds. I'm now going to drag the stars.jpg onto my composition window. And I'm going to scale it down a bit just to maximize the use of that file. So I'll drop down the scale, I'll hit S on the keyboard, and I guess I'll drop the scale down to about 80%. The next thing we're going to do is import the Saturn TIFF sequence. Once again, I'll go to File, Import, or hit Command-I, and I'm going to go to my folder where I've put my TIFF sequence. I'll select any frame, and down at the bottom, import as TIFF sequence, and I'm going to click on Force Alphabetical Order, and I'll hit Open and click OK. I'm now just going to drag it onto screen. Now I want the Saturn plan to revolve for the duration of the movie, and we have only one revolution as we generated it from Maya. So now I'm going to loop it. In order to do that, I'm going to go to the project window, and I'm going to right-click on the Saturn file, and I'll go to Interpret Footage Main, and at the very bottom of that window you'll see the word loop. I'm going to put in 30 loops, and once I've done that, I can now stretch the end of my clip out to the duration of my movie. If I were to tap my spacebar with the timeline selected now, I can see that my planet is going to revolve for the entire 40-second sequence that I've created. Now, it's going a little too fast for me, so I'm going to right-click on the clip in the timeline. I'm going to go to Time, and I'm going to choose Time Stretch. And I'm going to make it 150. I'm going to stop, save, and move the Saturn down towards the left-hand corner. I'm going to rotate it a bit. Now I can do that in two ways. I could hit W, which would take me to the rotation tool on the upper left-hand corner, or with the layer selected in the timeline, I could hit R on the keyboard, and I can use my left mouse to drag back and forth on the two zeros at the end of the rotation numerical sequence to rotate that a bit. So I'll rotate it so it's got a bit of a diagonal. And then I'm going to scale it down so it's not quite so big. I'm going to hit S on the keyboard, and now I can drag with my left mouse on either the X or Y axes, and as I drag to the left it decreases the size of the file. I'll hit V to go to my Move tool, and I'll place Saturn kind of like that. Now we have to bring in the moon. I'll select the project window, I'll hit Command-I. I'm opening up the folder named Moon with the Moon TIFF sequence. I'll select one of the frames. Down at the bottom, I'll click on TIFF sequence and then Force Alphabetical Order. I'll hit Open and click OK. I'll drag it onto the composition window, and I'm going to go back to the beginning of the timeline so I can see it. And the first thing I want to do is loop this also so that it plays for the duration of my animation. I'll right-click on the file in the project window. I'll go to Interpret Footage Main, and I'll make that 30 loops as well. I'll stretch it out so it's running the duration of my timeline. And then I'm going to scale it by hitting S on the keyboard, left mouse dragging on either the X or the Y axes. And I'll probably drop this down to about 65%. And I'm also going to rotate this a bit. I can hit W on the keyboard to get my rotation tool, and I'll just tip it a bit. And I'll hit V on the keyboard and move it to the upper right hand corner, and I'll save.